You know what's funny? If you were to ask someone what I'm famous for on YouTube, it would be the fact that I am the only person to review the Batman the Brave Bold Batmobile. I also think I personally am the only person in the entire world who bought that Batmobile, as literally still to this day, years later, I get asked where to buy that Batmobile. But if there was a second thing specifically relating to the fact that we do art on the channel, it would be not this, but my love of inking. And if there was some third or fourth or fifth thing, it would be this collection of alcohol markers that I seem to never use but quite enjoy. I love alcohol markers, and I figured I would make a video talking about why they're so good for beginning artists to get into coloring. It was also a really pain in the butt shot to do, as I had to move it from here to here, and this thing's heavy. Please, just watch the rest of this video for my suffering. I have to get it justified. Roll that intro. The part I love the most about this shot is this is not all my alcohol markers. Oh! The part I love about this shot the most is this isn't even all my alcohol markers. Now it's all my alcohol markers because this is my everyday carry for school. I have a problem. Now, interestingly, looking at all these alcohol markers, you're probably thinking like, hey, I got into alcohol markers the same way you did. Well, the answer to that is probably no. You see, my circumstance was pretty unique, as I was lucky enough to attend a week-long seminar at the Joe Kuber Institution of Cartooning and Graphic Arts, which is basically my dream college that doesn't offer a degree. What a shame. Well, I'm happy at Regent. Now, the thing about it is that you got a huge bundle of different art supplies when you attended. Even if you didn't do the full summer-long seminar, you essentially got the same amount of material with just less of the training. And the section that I went into didn't touch the actual alcohol markers, but I still got a pack of 12 Prismacolor ones. And Prisma was my first introduction to alcohol markers. I started looking up videos on them and really fell in love with the fact that they were a fun, easy, and kind of cheap way to actually color art. While digital coloring was kind of always an option for me, I still like to do things by hand and prefer to do them by hand, which is why I still ink traditionally. And alcohol markers provided a great way to color. I have painted in the past, but they were just a convenience to them that I really do like. And it's one of those things where it actually is a professional piece of art, and it's not something like a Sharpie that I would say really doesn't count in the professional sense. If you want to know my stance on Sharpies and professional artwork, check out this video here. Now, if you notice, there's quite a few different alcohol markers actually in this collection. Even though Prismacolor is my absolute favorite, I do incorporate multiple different types of alcohol markers in my artwork, and that's because I don't just limit myself to one brand. I'm really not a brand guy. That's not how I was raised. Prismacolor is cheap, affordable, and they have bullet nibs, and they also have brush nibs that are really nice. But there are some colors that Copic has that simply Prismacolor doesn't. I also use Artist Loft as their cheap, very affordable, I have to say. And it's really nice where I can go in with a sketch and adding areas of gray where I don't feel like I'm blowing a lot of money if I was to use Copic. I've even started to actually use the Winsor & Newton brushes, which Winsor & Newton does make my favorite ink, so I was happy to give their alcohol markers a try, and I was blown away by the quality of them. I actually would like to make a separate video just talking about them, as they are really good quality that a lot of people don't really talk about. It seems to just be a Copic world, but in my opinion, take advantage of the variety that are out there. Really explore ones and take advantage of the color range, the different types of heads they have, and really put them to use in a unique way that you really couldn't do just using yourself to one brand. For example, you actually look in here, I actually have a few Artist Loft Sharpies in here because they work really well and don't have yellowing problems that normal Sharpies have. I also have a few extra colors here because I do use a lot of different colors, especially reds and blues in my art, so I have a few in here. These are all, by the way, alphabetized and organized. And these shells actually aren't Prismacolor. They're, believe it or not, specifically designed for Spectre Noir, but they work great with different brands. And same thing for this case here. This is a Prismacolor marker case, but it's actually really nice because it can take different types of alcohol markers. I am lucky enough to actually have the Copic version of this. However, it's so specifically designed for Copics, you can't use it with any other alcohol markers. So it's only for Copics, and that's pretty annoying. This, however, works for other brands, and it's really nice so I can carry a good selection of colors from different brands in one case when I go to school and decide to do some coloring in between classes. One awesome thing about alcohol markers that I think is something that a lot of artists really like is the fact that they don't actually mess up your line art, which is really convenient, especially if you're traveling on the go or you don't want to make a separate copy of your art to color. You just want to color it all on the same page. I also like the fact that they do make special traditional inks so you can go and do your traditional inking method and still color with alcohol markers. It's really nice and convenient. Now, I think you all expected me to do an illustration to show you guys how good alcohol markers are, and that's what we're going to do. As you can see in the B footage playing right now, this footage was actually filmed quite a bit ago, and I did use a light board. That's because this B footage was actually meant for a different video that fell through, but fit honestly perfectly with this video I want to make anyway, so I'm reusing it. So that's why the art style is a little different. I would also like to say that my coloring style is quite different from other people that use alcohol markers. My main use of alcohol markers is because they don't streak, and I absolutely love that. I love the wide range of colors too. So what I like to do is traditional newsprint comic book coloring, where I actually go in with my highlights basically being white and my darks being the inks that I already put in. Usually through cross hatching, when I color it then makes it darker and so forth. So then essentially I really only use like one shade of blue, and that's my one shade of blue, instead of layering it and taking full advantage of the alcohol markers. That's just because I like that old school comic book art coloring, though I have made pieces in the past that actually did take more advantage of it, but they were more experimental. Either way, I would like to make that point out before we actually go into the color footage. But now that I made that clear, let's go ahead and roll that super time lapse. And we're done. And guys, I love how this piece came out. It really does show off my unique sense of coloring, and it has that old comic book feel to it that I really wanted to come across in it. And if you guys like it, it is available on Artstation channel for a $1 digital download. It really does help the channel, and it's that first link in the description down below. But I love to hear what you guys think of it, so go ahead and leave a comment while you're down there about the piece and what else you want me to talk about, or the inks to review, or a specific deep dive into alcohol marker techniques. I'd love to do a video on that as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and subscribe to the channel for more art and animation based content. And remember, I'm J-Rod of BLACKEST Productions. I draw power in my own soul.